Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Dorrien Gardens for NPL WA men's football and a catch-up match all the way back from round 3 between Perth Soccer Club and Armadale Soccer Club. Thanks for your company this evening here, slightly north of the Perth CBD on what is a chilly Tuesday night here in the west. My name's Tommy Dolman. I'll be calling you through tonight's fixture across both NPL.tv and the Football West Facebook page and YouTube channel. Remember, you can download the NPL.tv app across your various devices, sign up for a free account and access live football match highlights and replays of the various NPL competitions, not just around Australia on the men's and women's side. As mentioned before, this is a catch-up game from round 3 of this season's competition all the way back in the first week of April. Of course, we've had quite a few postponements due to COVID, but week by week these games are being caught up on gradually, and the league table is just starting to shape out that little bit more. Fingers crossed for less disruption in the second half of the season, and of course we hope you're all staying safe and well wherever you are around the world. So the assistant referees are just doing their pre-game admin. Perth are currently gathered in a huddle off of your stream, and Armadale, as you can see, have already broken from theirs. Your referee, incidentally, here tonight is David Bruce, and his assistants will be Liviu Katona and Alex Ciccaroni. Before we get underway, I can just about hear that the nets are going to need a little bit more taping before we can get proceedings underway once and for all. It looks as though that will be tended to. And what we will do in the meantime is we'll take a quick pause and we'll come back to you very shortly. So with the halfway point of season 2022 coming up this weekend. It's a time of year where we can start to gauge the prospects of NPL WA men's sides moving forward and the likely targets they'll be setting themselves for the season's second half. These two do find themselves in the bottom half coming into tonight's game, and whilst the postseason isn't completely insurmountable for either in terms of points available, a run is going to have to begin at some point, and both teams will be hoping that it can start for them this evening. It's Perth Soccer Club versus Armadale. Perth and Armadale both wearing their home kits. The Azuri kicking off and kicking from the right to the left of your stream, wearing the predominantly sky blue jerseys and the white shorts, and Armadale in the mainly black and red kit. We'll have an early throw in here for the visitors, which should be taken by Kevin Gallo, French midfield player who was brought in over the off-season, playing in the full-back role tonight. Here he is looking inside for Abdul Osman. Cherno Bar rolled out wide for Isaac Coomson, who'll look for the run of Peter Jacobs, who's managed to stay onside. One-on-one with Silla. Coomson's ball into the area, dangerous little flick, and in the end Tellez came out and managed to hoist that one away. Jelenovic's flick on from Gallo's header. Josh Calla will get it all the way back to George Fester, and Perth will now look to try and build something the other way. Here's Alex Silla. Galami, Fester, and now Tellez. Perth just looking to try and keep a little bit of possession early on here. Try and settle into a little bit of a phase of control. On ball forward, Coomson will get ahead to it. Not the best clearance mind. Sinclair couldn't capitalise initially. Tried to on the second time of asking, and eventually Osman stepped in. Coomson again, Osman. Nice little triangles from Armadale. It comes unstuck eventually though. Sinclair, it was a good recovery. Challenge from Coomson though, who got back, and Consello will try and clear upfield. Shouts for handball. Nothing given against Calla. And in fact, the decision is given eventually against the home side. Both of these teams actually came off defeats on the weekend. Perth losing by 3-1 here against Bayswater City. That actually ended a run of 5 games unbeaten for the Azuri, and what has been a very interesting season for them in terms of the postponements they've had. They've only played 7 of 10 possible matches due to COVID cancellations. This is, as mentioned before, one of their catch-up matches back from round 3. Before that defeat on the weekend, they had actually won 7-0 away at Gwelup. So some signs there that a little form was possibly being built with that unbeaten run before maybe a minor setback against Bayswater at the weekend. Let's see if that carries on into this game or not. Silla almost waiting for an option at right back. Opts to just go as far as he can. Bar won the header. Zamorino couldn't bring under control. Jacobs. Calla was able to nip in and win the ball back for his team. Did really well. He set Zamorino on his way. He was looking left, looking right. Went back left in the end for Gordon. Now Makala. Gordon continued his run down the left. He opts to come inside instead. Galami had a little bit of pressure coming onto him in the form of Jacobs, but he kept his cool and managed to work it back for Fester, who's in his second spell with the Azuri, of course, having previously been with Floriat for a period in between. Actually won the State Cup with Athena last season, having previously been a junior here at Dorrien Gardens. Here's Pasalakwa. Long ball forward into the channel. Jelenovic didn't show too much interest in trying to chase that one down, and the ball ran through pretty comfortably for Luke Radonic. One of 4 off-season signings from Coburn City in this team. The others been Famwell DeWitt, Julian Tellez and Ali Galami. Nice little 1-2 there. Played down the right-hand side. Cross came into the area. It was Atta and Barr who were trying to link up. And then the shouts for handball were observed and agreed with by referee David Bruce. Armadale will have a set piece in a pretty good position here. So Atta is over the dead ball. Armadale have 6 to aim for in the area. And Gallo lurking on the edge of it. Might be making a late run into the area himself. Atta clips it in. It's aimed in deep. Not the most convincing of headers away by Perth. Eventually the clearance is enforced. Atta did his best to keep it in play. Looks to link up with Barr again, who skips away from Makala. Little reverse pass is a good one for Jelenovic, and then the cross was blocked well by Fester, and Perth should now surely be able to clear their lines and do. Long ball over the top from Culler. I think Makala has stayed on side here. He's got to wait for the ball to bounce, and that allowed Gallagher to close him down. The reverse was a good one for Zimmerino, who's wearing the captain's armband tonight. Armadale with good pressure though, and referee deemed that Osman was maybe a little bit too enthusiastic in the challenge, and as a result it will be a Perth free kick. So now a chance for Perth from the set piece. Crowder body is going to be making a move towards the back post. One of them was Tellez. Glancing header, I think, was from Costello. Coombson should be able to clean it up and does. Clearance only as far as Kalla. Staying forward was Tellez. Pass was wayward, though, and Jelenovic is going to chop that off. Touch from him, though, was a little heavy. Now DeWitt. Pass was played into Gallo. Looks like he's worn a little bit of a sore one there. So Gallo is back to his feet. Understandably moving a little gingerly. Throw-in taken by Gordon. Into the feet of Makala. Ball played back for DeWitt. Perth trying to get something going down the left. Last touch was off Osman there. And now Gallo will make his way back onto the field. Last touch there off DeWitt, and it'll be a goal kick. So Gallo just does look in a little bit of pain. Hopefully he is okay. And to continue. Still looks as though he's holding his abdomen, slightly winded perhaps. I spoke about Perth just a little bit before. Armadale were actually 3 games unbeaten prior to the weekend's fixture at home against Inglewood, where they lost by Manasseh Abendale a 1-0. Had a really good chance to equalise at the end of the game, actually, did John O'Reilly's side. I think it was Jelenovic who rounded the goalkeeper and couldn't beat a retreating defender on the line. Draws against Coburn, Bayswater, and a win against Gwelup before that. And they now find themselves 2 points behind Inglewood, who are 7th at the moment, and 9 points off 4th place, who is currently Bayswater, but they do have tonight's game in hand, so if they do win that, they will close to within 6 points of Gareth Naven's team. Perth, meanwhile, are a further 2 points behind, but as mentioned before, they're probably the team that's most been affected by COVID cancellations this season. This is one of 3 games in hand for them that they've got to come as the weeks progress. Cross into the area, meanwhile, is cut out by Silla. Costello forward, turned into a good pass. Osman's little flick over the top, making his move inside from the left was Angel Andres Rivera, and that was cleared away by an Azuri blue shirt. Now Jacobs crossed in. It was an awkward one for Fester to deal with, and he couldn't really manoeuvre his body quickly enough to divert it anywhere other than a corner. First one of the evening for either team. So Atta goes over to take. Crowd of bodies on that 6-yard line. It's aimed in towards Jacobs. Sinclair was back defending. Gallo struck it on the volley. Angel Andres Rivera swung a boot at it. And the last touch came off a Perth player, and it'll be another corner. So a similar tactic from the visitors here. This time it's played towards the edge of the area for Gallo, but reading that one really well was Fester, and he'll try the early release here for Makala, who may get on the end of it. Garcella's a mile out of his goal. Makala's lift over the keeper was wide of the mark, though. And the goalkeeper wasn't punished for being out of position there. And it turned out to be one that maybe the away side got away with slightly on that occasion. It was a brilliant pass by George Fester. It should be said for him to read the danger, for him to be out quickly to close down any chance of Gallo striking one from the edge of the area. And then for the release to be dangerous enough for Armadale's defence to be a little bit confused. Makala did get on the end of it, but couldn't quite get the effort on target. Osman. Plenty of space. Wide left here for Jacobs if he can get it out there. He does now. First time cross was a little disappointing, and that won't trouble Perth's defence or Radonich's goal. It should be said that these two teams have already met at this venue this season in the Australia Cup. It was a round of 16 clash, which Armadale actually won by 2-1, thanks to strikes from Andres Rivera and Abdul Osman. Daniel Zivkovic with the answer for Perth. And that win actually means that Armadale are in the last 8 of the preliminary rounds of the Australia Cup. And they'll play Inglewood United away from home on the midweek of June 7 or 8. And should they get through that, they'll play Bayswater or the Western Knights, the winner of that game in the semi-final, as they look to hopefully, as far as they're concerned, pull off a repeat of their 2018 heroics, where they did win the State Cup final at this very ground against Guelph, Croatia, and subsequently went on to represent the West in the FFA Cup round of 32. DeWitt. Ball left. Gordon can't quite keep that one in play. Idea was right, execution wasn't. So just gone a quarter of an hour here at Dorrien Gardens. Still goalless between Perth Soccer Club and Armadale Soccer Club. If you're a little late to the evening's broadcast here on NPL.tv and on the Football West Facebook page and on the YouTube channel, wherever you may be joining us tonight around the state, the country or the world. Battle between the teams who started the evening 8th and 9th in the table and who are looking to try and get 3 points tonight to try and kickstart a bit of a late season run and get a little bit of momentum going into the second half of the campaign. Over the top from Galami, searching balls, looking for Sinclair. Garcella will come and claim that one. And the quick release will be thrown for Coomson into the chest of Andres Rivera. Makala, DeWitt breaking forward from midfield. He's got to wait for the support to arrive. It does now in the form of Gordon. Checks back instead for Tellez. Now Kalla. Plenty of space, wide right for Silla. Gordon. Up the line for Makala. Sliding in with a really good challenge was Pasalakwa, who's made one of those positions in Armadale's defence his own this season, having played in every, or been in every matchday squad for Armadale's senior side this season. Was actually a former junior with the club, was Pasalakwa. Subsequently went on to have seasons with Fremantle City, Kingsway, and a period with NPL side Bayswater as well. 19 appearances for Canning City last season, out of Division 2. Garcella's ball forward. Andres Rivera competing in the air. Headed back by Osman. Festa sends it right back. Helped forward by Barr. Asa gives chase and Gordon just slides it up the line. Gallo's cross was cut out by Kalla. Now Galami. Returns for Kalla. DeWitt's in space here wide left. Gordon, really nice first touch. Pass just didn't quite have the weight for Zimmerino, who was making a move forward. Cherno Barr's ball was a little behind Jacobs, but the winger made it work. Now Costello. Header from Gordon. Makala. Goes to ground, draws the foul. Perth free kick. Good pass wide here for Gordon. Up against his fellow number 5 in Kevin Gallo. DeWitt. Now Tellez into the feet of Zimmerino. A little touch for Calla. Tough one to bring down. Armadale win the ball back and they'll come the other way. Coombson looks to raid his way down the left-hand side. Pass into the feet of Jacobs, who spun away from Silla. And with a quick turn was able to win the foul. In goes Coombson's free kick. Radonjic comes off his line and takes two-handed with the confidence that you like to see from your goalkeeper under those high balls. Now Atta into the feet of Adriano Jelenovic. Back for Cherno Bar. Coombson in the bright yellow boots. Little ball forward, clipped into the area. Half cleared by Tellez, worked out okay for Calla, and now the releasing ball will try and set McCullough on his way. Garcello is off his line. Once more sweeping, this time he made a much better job of reading the play. Good football here by Perth. Pass forward from Galami gives Sinclair something to chase. He'll get to the ball before Garcella as well, but the goalkeeper did really well to recover. Dived on the ball at the second time of asking. No mistake made. And now forward goes the ball looking for Andres Rivera, who strayed a little early into an offside position. DeWitt. Tellez into the feet of Calla. Switch the play, was looking for Silla, who did well to keep it in play. Early cross comes in, Costello heads clear. Jacobs then won the 50-50. Ball will be returned back to Perth though, and they'll set themselves on their way forward once again. Calla turning away. Little slide rule ball was in between the widest player in Gordon and the most central player in Sinclair. Last touch was off Tarek out of there, and Perth will have a throw. Interestingly, Atta spent the start of the season here at Dorrien Gardens, having previously played with Forestfield United last season in Division 1. Then went and signed with John O'Reilly's side, and he's since made 8 appearances at Alfred Skate Reserve this season. Got his first Armadale goal back in round 4 in the game against Perth Glory as well. Now Calla, ball forward, dangerous one. Hanging a boot out there was Gallo. Gordon stayed wide here again. Perth really looking to stretch the pitch this evening. Little reverse pass was a good one from DeWitt, and McCullough got on the end of it. Cross into the area was aimed in deep, but it was over the head of Sinclair and Coombson. And the latter will track across to get the ball to Jacobs, who played up the line somewhat waywardly for the run of Andres Rivera. Stepping out Costello, Armadale's skipper, little through ball looking for Jelenovic, who tries to turn his marker. Getting back in support was DeWitt. Costello continued his run forward. Still going as the centre-back, pass into the area to Andres Rivera, who strikes a goal and finds the back of the net. Deadlock broken. The visitors hit the front, and they've already won here at this venue this season. And they're not content with doing it just once either. It's Perth 0, Armadale 1. So Angel Andres Rivera's fourth goal of the season. He'd actually netted in 3 games in a row prior to the weekend's defeat against Inglewood at Alfred Skeet Reserve. And he's back on the goal-scoring list now, so that's goals in 4 of his last 5 games in total. And it's a lead for Armadale here at Dorrien Gardens, 27 minutes in to this catch-up fixture from round 3 of the men's NPL WA competition. Coombson's ball this time caught Andres offside. Zimmerino surging forward with the ball. The pass was looking for the feed of Sinclair. Costello was able to clear away. And now Jacobs will look to set Armadale on their way again down the left. It's a 2-on-3. Perth did have the extra man. He checked back for Rivera. And now Perth have managed to get some bodies back. That's not stopped them from picking out the feet of Jacobs, though, who slows into the area. Radonich made the save. And following up was Jelenovic for 2-0. And it's a quick fire double from Armadale in the space of a couple of minutes. And is this the break that's going to ignite Armadale's season as they look to surge towards those top 4 places in the second half of the campaign? It's Perth 0, Armadale 2. Perth 0, Armadale 2. 2 goals in as many minutes from Angel Andres Rivera and Adriano Jelenovic. And the visitors have put themselves into a really good position here at the home of last season's champions. Team who won the league and top 4 cup double in season 2021. Plenty of change in this off-season, both in the coaching and in the playing setup. And now they've got to find a response here. Given they're 2 goals down, Keller tries to find something for the Azzurri. Jacobs pinches it off Silla, and Armadale are coming forward again looking for a third. This time, Fester was able to slide the challenge into Jacobs, and Perth win the throw. Garcella's clearance upfield. Jelenovic won the battle of strength with Tellez. He then didn't win it the second time round, and now he's releasing ball forward. Tried to set McCullough on his way, but he couldn't quite stay on side. Looked as though Jelenovic did really well initially to roll Tellez, and then he tried to draw the foul. Possibly feels he should have had the decision in his favour there, but the referee disagreed and allowed play to go the other way for Perth. So touch over half an hour played, and as things stand, Armadale will be moving above Inglewood and back into 7th, which was where they were before the weekend started last week, and that defeat to Inglewood. More importantly, though, they closed that margin on Bayswater to 6 points. Zimmerino with an audacious effort. Might have just been sliding wide of the post, but Garcella came across and cut it off in any case. Coombson's ball forward sets Jacobs running away into the channel. Silla did well to get his body in between ball and opponent. Now Fester's pass for Calla. Ball up the line was headed away by Pasalacqua. Oh, pinching there was Osman. And he linked up with Jelenovic, but Jelenovic was in an offside position, unfortunately, for the visitors. Once again, the intensity shown by Armadale there to try and press high and win the ball. Something they've done pretty well in this first half when they've needed to. Perth are looking to try and respond, though. Gordon's pass into the feet of McCullough. Ball into the area. Zimmerino tried to tee that one off for Sinclair, but the pass was wide of the mark. And now Jacobs releases Jelenovic, but the pass was overhit, and Radonic can gather. Sinclair was offside, left it, but flag had already gone up and the offside call was raised. Garcella's clearance was cut out by DeWitt. Now McCullough will try to run the other way, but that was really good tracking back from Atta there. That's what you want to see from your midfielders, working hard and supporting your defence. Osman gets away from Calla. Pass wide for Jacobs. Silla is able to cut out. A player who's delivered so often for the Azzurri, particularly in the big moments. Most famous for that winner in the 2019 Top 4 Cup. His cross comes into the area. It's cut out by Costello. Coombson will play up the line for Jacobs, and Armadale are off and away again here. Andres Rivera is inside. Just got held up there by Calla, who did really well to allow his teammates to get back in defence in retreat. Rivera's ball forward was then cut out by Gordon. Now Gallo, plenty of time to aim it across, but that one's too deep for everybody, and away it goes for a goal kick. Well, it's not been a game that has been shy of goals, has this fixture over the years. We've had 58 in the previous 15 meetings in the NPL era from when the competition started back in 2014, so just shy of 4 a game. Cross into the area again. Armadale come forward once more. Jelenovic with the inventive spin and volley, and getting in the way there, importantly, was Tellez. Otherwise, that could well have been a third for the away side. And now Tellez will require a little bit of treatment, having blocked that shot. Should be said that Perth have only ever been held scoreless once in this fixture since 2014 as well. And that was all the way back in 2017 in round 6 when it was a goalless draw here at Dorrien Gardens. Saying that, though, Armadale know that if they can get their second ever clean sheet against Perth here in this game, and by extension their second clean sheet of the season, they will walk away with 3 points this evening as Costello lifts that one over the sideline. Kalla, Tellez. Back into the feet of Kalla. Galami, Kalla again. Armadale shape pretty good and pretty difficult for Perth to penetrate. And there's a good example of Armadale's shape holding up again as Barr was able to cut that one out. Gallo's pass was missed. Sliding in was Gordon. Didn't need to make the challenge in the end. Tellez gets it back for Kalla. DeWitt and McCullough are wide left. Galla got a little glance on that one. And then he was able to get the ball back from Atta. Those two have actually linked up pretty well so far this evening. Down the right-hand side. Gallo continued his run, but the pass from Barr was just behind him. Osmond with a no-nonsense pass/clearance up in the air. Might break for Sinclair. Coombson's got the pace to get back, though, and get it back to Garsala, whose clearance under pressure went straight into touch. Goalkeeper who was the number 1 for John O'Reilly's side last season, having started the season before with Sorrento back in 2020, previously of Balcatta and Morley Windmills as well. Galami, Kalla. Perth putting some passes together nicely here. Last one, though, let them down just as I was saying that. As the commentators curse strikes, Coombson's clearance went long. Jelenovic looking to make a nuisance of himself again. This time Tellez was able to stay on his feet and carry the ball forward, although it was cut out by Osman initially. Barr. Little ball here for Jelenovic, who's stayed on side. He's got Andres Rivera to aim for in the middle. The pullback was looking to pick out Atta, and in good position there was Tellez to intercept the danger. Armadale playing with plenty of confidence here, though, and they have certainly shown that they fancy their chances of possibly getting a 30 before half-time, as Rivera rolls Fester, strikes at goal, and puts it just wide of the mark. And maybe that should have been a third for Armadale inside the first 40 minutes here at Dorrien Gardens. But those slide rule balls are going through a little too easily as far as Perth's defence are concerned. In fact, they've actually got the best defence in the league, have the Azzurri, albeit with the caveat that they have only played 7 of a possible 10 games, 7 goals conceded this season, 3 better than the next best in Sterling Macedonia. 3 clean sheets as well prior to tonight's match, but Armadale have given them Real problems this evening. Here's Coombson, who was once of Subiaco and Guellup. Pass forward here for Jacobs, who beats Fester to the ball, but the touch was a slight bit heavy. Perth will get us restarted with a goal kick. Makala. Ball back for Galami. Silas crossed into the area. Gallo got a header on it. DeWitt will lead the race back. Gordon was there in support. Now into the feet of Zimmerino. DeWitt. Kalla. Little dink forward. Was slightly behind Zimmerino. And Atta is happy to watch that one roll behind. So a touch over 2 minutes before half-time. It's Perth 0, Armadale 2. Goals from Andres Rivera and Adriano Jelenovic in this first 45 thus far. Perth would love to pinch one back before half-time, though. Let's see what they can do here. Makala. Kalla. Tellez. Gordon links up with Tellez again. Now Kalla. Perth are happy to be patient so far, but Armadale have just been so resolute in this first half thus far. And once again, Coombson's in the right position to deal with the danger. Rivera's got to wait for support. Tellez kept his feet. DeWitt's little clip forward. Zimmerino will try and run onto it. Costello will poke it away. DeWitt was bodied off the ball legally by Paslakwa. And Garcella will take his time over this goal kick with touch under a minute to play. Ball forward from Silla, gives Makala something to chase. Garcella at the edge of his area to pick up. Thrown wide for Gallo. Atta working so hard to get back. Tried to help it back to Pasalakwa. DeWitt steps in. Gordon running forward. The pull back. Zimmerino was approaching the edge of the area. Couldn't quite get there. He teed it off for Galami. Zimmerino, low ball into the area. Makala swung a boot at it. There was an Armadale touch in there. And that partially got it away. And in the end, Barr is just happy to get that one as far away as possible. Armadale had a 2-on-2 there if possession had broken their way. Perth still have numbers forward as a result. Zimmerino, Silla continued his run. Coombson stepped in. And now Barr should be able to poke it upfield and does. And perhaps Armadale will fancy their chances of maybe finding a third before the break, but Tellez, as he has been on a couple of occasions tonight, has been in the way. Tellez, little pass forward, McCullough, good challenge, Coombson. He'll get the ball away to safety, and that will be the last action of the first half here at Dorrien Gardens, a venue which Armadale came to last month and knocked out Perth from the Australia Cup, and they lead by 2-0 here at the break as they try and do a double here at Dorrien Gardens in both League and Cup. The goals scored by their front two, Angel Andres Rivera and Adriano Jelenovic. Opportune moments in the penalty area from two players who have been in good goal-scoring touch in recent weeks. Perth's best opportunity perhaps came when Shubham McCullough helped the ball towards goal with Yusri Garcella slightly off his line, but he couldn't hit the target. And in truth, Perth haven't really created any clear-cut chances in this first half. They'll expect to create a few more in the second half, and they're going to have to if they could turn things around here. Half-time at Dorrien Gardens. Perth 0, Armadale 2. Welcome back to Dorrien Gardens for this round 3 men's NPL WA catch-up match between Perth Soccer Club and Armadale Soccer Club. Score at the break is 2-0 in favour of the visitors. Goals provided to them by Angel Andres Rivera and by Adriano Jelenovic. Both scored within a couple of minutes of each other in that first 45. No changes made from either side at the interval, or at least none that I can see, which are obvious anyway, as David Bruce blows his whistle and gets this second half of action underway. The visitors getting us started as well. A really good first 45 performance from them. They got the 2 goals. They barely gave Perth a real chance other than one nervous Garcella moment. Perth will look to try and come forward early in the half though, but Sinclair went a little early, and in any case his shot was on target but wasn't able to beat Yusri Garcella. Garcella's ball forward, aimed in towards Andres Rivera. DeWitt at the fall of it. Fester will work wide for Silla. Clearance into the back of Barr. It'll be a Perth ball. Just looking at some of the options that Perth do have on the bench to possibly change the game. They have got Daniel Zivkovic and Ethan Banks. Luke Collins as well was a player who's mainly played at left back for the Azzurri this season, but was a left winger at Rockingham prior to his arrival this term. I'm sure if the scores stay as they are as the half wears on, then we will see some changes from Mark Wingell and his coaching staff. Tellez into the feet of Calla, who saw plenty of the football in the first half. Back for Tellez again, who was pretty good in that first 45 minutes. Worked wide for Fester, who's allowed to carry the ball. Plays a little 1-2 with DeWitt. Fester's ball was looking for the feet of Sinclair. McCullough will try and give chase, and Garcella was out of his goal promptly to pick up the ball and make sure the former Balcatta winger was not able to get on the end of it. Looks like a real diamond midfield. This one from Perth, with the front 2 of McCullough and Sinclair. But it's been players like Atta and Gallo and Coombson and Jacobs who've been really good in this game so far for Armadale. They've offered that width. They've tried to stretch the game. Here are 2 of them combining again as Coombson found Jacobs, who then won the throw off Silla. Costello, strike at goal from long range, was always sailing over Radonic's bar. But that just tells you just how much confidence is running through the away side at the moment. Skipper and centre-back Nathan Costello former Kelmscott Junior and National Youth League player with the Glory. He's coming forward and fancying his chances from the best part of 40 yards out. Been with the club since 2017 and has been a really good servant for them. Meanwhile, Andres Rivera snuck in behind again, and he's going to add a third. And this night just keeps getting better and better for Armadale, who look as though they're going to bounce back from that defeat on the weekend and hit straight back with 3 big points on the road here. It's Perth 0, Armadale 3 now. So 3 goals inside the first 50 minutes for Armadale here at Dorrien Gardens. It's only the second time they've ever done that. Score 3 at this venue in the league. The last time they did it was actually the last time they won at this ground, which was back in 2020. By 3 goals to 2. Perth looking to reply quickly, though. They managed to get the ball cleared to Armadale eventually, though. Makala. Little ball through. In comes the cross, aimed in towards Sinclair. Brings it down on the chest volleys. Over his shoulder. Wasn't able to get it on target, though. And Garcella will eventually get us restarted with the goal kick. So just back on that record, Perth have actually only lost once to Armadale in the NPL era, and it was that aforementioned round 7 match back in 2020 when goals from Andres Rivera, from Kevin Ashwood and from Sebastian Stenkvist gave them a 3-2 win here. Armadale's only winning 8 previous trips to this venue. They've only taken 4 points out of this game since 2014. And as things stand, there in a really strong position now to go and take 3 points back down the Kwinana Freeway. And they're looking to maybe add a 4th here as Tellez eventually is able to get it back to Radonich. Perth are just looking for a way out here, and once again Armadale are able to box them in. And once again it's in those wide positions where they're having a little bit of joy as Gallo trying to link up with Adder again. This time Perth do manage to win the ball, and they come through here forward from Makala. DeWitt is wide to his right. The ball eventually work his way. Little roll forward into the feet of Zimmerino. Getting back to his feet was Barr, and then Osman is able to work wide to Gallo, and that brings a round of applause from Armadale's coaching staff in the dugout to our right, but they've still got some defending to do here. Alex Silla will try his luck from distance, deflected and over, and it'll be a Perth corner. Perth looking to give themselves a lifeline here. Makala's ball in, headed away. I think it was by Osman. The volley comes in from Galami, but that was a tough chance to take, and he wasn't quite able to get over it, and over the bar it went. Garcella's clearance wasn't the best, but it'll work out okay for Atta. That's a really nice little spin away from Gordon. Releasing pass was cut out by Fester. Now Calla with a volleyed effort ahead of him. McCullough was coming back from an offside position and it just ran through easily for Yusri Garcella, whose only clean sheet this season was in the 6-0 home win against Balcatta. Comprehensive victory that night at Alfred Skeet Reserve. In fact, you've got to go all the way back to round 2 of 2021 for the last time that Armadale kept a clean sheet on the road, and that was when they won 4-0 away at then ECU Joondalup. Silla's ball forward. Passalacqua lost his footing. McCullough, little reverse pass. Couldn't quite pick out the run of Sinclair. DeWitt will drive from distance. And it was always saying wide of the mark. Garcella still took a dive to his left, though. And was able to watch that wide of the mark. Long from Garcella. Jacobs tries to flick on. Galami works it back to Fester. Radnich without an obvious option. Clears long upfield, but it's picked off by Gallo. Fester. Clip forward, cut out by Gallo once again. Cherno Bar just played the ball slightly in front of Abdul Osman. Now DeWitt the other way. Little ball forward. Calla was making the breaking run from midfield. Once again, the ball's worked wide for Jacobs, who's got plenty of time on the ball to assess his options. Fester read the pass, though. And now he'll play up the line for Sinclair. McCullough's in plenty of space in the middle if they could have got it to him, but once again, Passalacqua was able to get back, and I'm not sure if McCullough had made the move offside in any case. Jelenovic into the feet of Andres Rivera. Lovely piece of footwork there to get away a would-be challenge. And then how's that for a pass with the outside of the boot? Armadale turning on the style now. Peter Jacobs driving into the area. Silla stands him up. The ball back. Abdul Osman. And I think he was caught in two minds possibly there as to whether he wanted to put the cross in or take the strike on goal. And in the end, he did a combination of the pair. He's been absolutely brilliant tonight. Abdul Osman in the centre of that midfield for Armadale. Just that work rate. He's covered every blade of grass so far tonight, it seems. Won a number of 50-50s and has been a real driving force behind this Armadale lead that they currently hold against that diamond midfield where Perth have often been able to have the outnumber in throughout the evening. combated really well so far. Here's a chance for Perth through the midfield, though. Releasing ball from DeWitt's a good one for McCullough, who'll drive into the area. The pullback was looking for Sinclair. Armadale had bodies in the way. McCullough will get another chance. Gordon will curl one in. And Armadale should once again be able to clear their lines. This time the pass a little too far ahead of Atta. He slid in to try and keep it alive, but Perth will try and return serve once again here as they try to build up a little bit of a head of steam here, the home side. Caller's pass for Gordon was off, and I think we are going to see a change now for Perth. In fact, it's going to be a double substitution. So it's going to be Daniel Zivkovic and Phoenix Lee who are going to enter the field. And it's going to be a straight swap up top. So 2 forwards off in Hassani Sinclair and Shubham Makala. On comes Daniel Zivkovic, the number 11, who actually started the season really well, was a really lively player in pre-season for Perth as they made the night series final all the way back in March. Took a little while to get going, though, at senior level. There's Zivkovic. Did net in the cup game here against Armadale. Lee, meanwhile, looks a really interesting player on paper anyway. 32 goals in 22 games for Sorrento under 18s in 2021 and 8 goals in 9 for Perth's under 20s this season. Wouldn't they love him to find one at senior level for the Azzurri? They both got about half an hour to try and make an impact on this one here as Perth try to pull back a 3-goal deficit. Once again, though, work rate from Armadale is on point as Bar forces Perth back. Forward from Galami. Here is Lee now. First touch of the ball. The pullback was looking for Zimmerino, but swarming once again around that cutback were a trio of black and red jerseys. Lee shouts for handball. Spotted by David Bruce. Armadale still yet to turn to their bench tonight, by the way. Coaching staff very happy to see what's unfolded so far in these opening 63 minutes. Jacobs wins the free kick. Coombson tried to take quickly. Andres Rivera possibly thought it was taken a little too quick and Perth are able to win the ball back. Zimmerino, nice little exchange of passes, get Perth out of a pocket. Now Calla will slide that one wide for Gordon. DeWitt. Pass forward. Gordon continued his run forward from full back. Ball aimed in towards Zivkovic. It took a touch off Costello, possibly off the knee, and it landed in the grateful arms of Garcella. Forward from Costello. Ball just skipped over the feet of Andres Rivera. One of the league's most experienced campaigners is Andres Rivera, player who's spent time with Dianella, with Fremantle City and with Coburn City, among others. Taking his tally to 5 goals this season with the brace. And all of those 5 have actually come in his last 5 games now. Switch the play from Zimmerino. Really good pass. Aimed in the direction of Gordon. Pass was played off Atta. Once again, Perth are just forced back towards the halfway line. Repelled by really good intensity and work rate and pressure from this Armadale rear guard. Tellez, now Galami. Alex Silla, Zimmerino. Little pass forward. Galami may still get on the end of it. Garcella came flying off his line and then dived on it at the second time of asking to snuff out the trouble. And whistle has gone here from David Bruce. Not 100% what for. And the trainer will now be called on. Possibly some after effects of that collision as Garcella went to bravely dive on the ball on a couple of occasions. Referee will just go and consult with his assistant here to make sure there was nothing untoward. So midway through this second half here at Dorrien Gardens, as the game takes a temporary pause, Perth Soccer Club 0, Armadale 3. 2 goals from Angel Andres Rivera and another from Adriano Jelenovic. That dangerous Armadale attacking duo. Both in the goals and have both put Armadale in a real strong position here on NPL.tv and on the Football West Facebook page and YouTube channel going into the final 22.5 minutes of this fixture. Armadale looking for just their second ever league win against Perth and their second at this venue as well. In conjunction, and they're 3/4 of the way to achieving that goal and moving back up to 7th place, and probably more importantly closing that gap on Bayswater in 4th to 6 points. Atta, ball helped forward. A little bit too close to the goalkeeper though. Dangerous pass from Tellez was worked out okay for Silla. Pass took a touch off Jelenovic. Armadale win possession back. Barr, nice little burst of acceleration there. And then the little clip through will stay in play for you, Andres Rivera. Now Jacobs. Arriving was Adder, who jumped up. He got his head on the ball. And the ball just looped over the bar of Radonic, who watched over pretty comfortably in the end. Garcella's in-step clearance turned out to be a good pass for Coombson. Coombson's throw. Osman got a little shove in the back. Going to be a couple more changes here for Perth. We're going to see Federico Achille and Ethan Banks enter the field in place of George Fester and Paul Zimmerino. So Achille, likely a like-for-like replacement. He's got the captain's armband on, with Zimmerino going off. He'll slot into the centre of defence. Just wait and see where Banks will play. Meanwhile, Armadale have a free kick. Achilles straight into the action with a header away. Now Caller's ball forward gives Ethan Banks something to chase after. Ethan Banks driving down this left-hand side and getting across there and making the challenge was Gallo. Looks as though Banks is also going to play in that role that Zimmerino had as that number 10, just behind the front two. Licensed to burst forward a little bit more. DeWitt. Played off Gallo, who did really well. Once again, he's another of these Armadale players who've had an outstanding match tonight. Banks. Little ball forward for Will Gordon. Now Zivkovic. Banks. Gordon. Cross into the area. Aim towards Lee. A little too close to the goalkeeper though. Galami. Plenty of space here for Zivkovic to turn and dribble towards goal. He gets the better of Barr. Went to ground, got back up again. Barr then tried to win the ball at the second time of asking, but there was an infringement spotted on Zivkovic as he's made his way towards goal. Perth will have the free kick around 35 yards out, possibly closer to 40. Plenty of numbers committed forward for this one. Unsurprisingly so. In comes the delivery, and it's a disappointing one once again. Overall, half dozen of those Perth shirts in the penalty area, and that's just summed up the final ball really so far for Perth tonight. It's not quite been on the money. That was obviously from a dead ball, but give Armadale full credit for tonight's defensive performance. They really have limited Perth to the most minimal of opportunities, really. And it's going to be one of their current match winners in Andres Rivera, who will make way with Armadale's first change of the match. And on will come Gordon Perkins for the final 16 minutes or so. Player with real pace. Can be really incisive down the wing. Player who's playing some first-team football at NPL level this season. Really impressed in the pre-season, actually. I remember seeing him on a couple of occasions earlier on in the campaign. I thought he'd be a player who would add something to Armadale's front line this season. Got a memorable goal which went viral against Balcatta in that 6-0 win. Former Inglewood United under-18 player as well, who, as mentioned before, is getting his opportunity, having scored 23 goals in 24 matches for the under-18 side last season. Sella fouled by Coombson. And Coombson will be, I believe, the first name into David Bruce's notebook tonight. It's going to be a two-man Armadale wall. Josh Keller is over the free kick. Keller plays for Gordon, who tries his luck. Oh, it's a fine save. Getting down low from Garsala. He must have seen it late through a sea of bodies. And more impressively, he palmed it away to safety. Could have easily gone right back into the mixer, and then pressing up was Perkins to try and prevent Perth from taking a quick corner, and then once again he's in the way to put into touch. A super save from Yusri Garsala preserves Armadale's 3-goal lead. Another yellow card shown by David Bruce. Having not seen any in the first 75 minutes, we've now seen 2 in 1 minute. This one's going to Cherno Bar. Who offers out a hand of apology as Lee was making his way into the penalty area. Callis free kick, aimed in towards a group of bodies at the back post. Silla tried to drive towards goal left-footed. It was charged down by Adder, and he managed to get the ball forward for Perkins, who'll scoot away. Jelenovic was offside, though. Just couldn't quite check his run to stay on, and it looks pretty clear from where we were sat. Perkins maybe could have carried the ball forward, but give credit to the Perth defender there who pressed up and made the decision a difficult one for Perkins. Meanwhile, Bar's back heel. Passalak was passed forward. Turned into more of a clearance, which the visitors will use to try and press up that defensive line. Zivkovic. Gordon continued his run forward, cross into the area. Garsala comes and claims once again, though. As he leaps over Coombson. With plenty of authority, and just gives Armadale's defence that little bit of relief, which they'll much appreciate as this game wears on and these minutes continue to tick down. Costello, who's got 1 assist already tonight with that ball forward for Andres' 3rd goal. That's a peach of a pass to pick out Perkins as well. Pulling back for Tarek Adder, who skips past the challenge and pulls back for Jelenovic. Atta continued his run. Jelenovic will strike at goal. He collected Tellez instead of the ball, though, and that'll be a home free kick. Achilles pass, Atta snapping at the heels of DeWitt. Decision goes Perth's way. Zivkovic, lovely back heel. Gordon, Zivkovic again. Zivkovic wider. For Galami, gets it back. Zivkovic once more, and then just slammed upfield as long and as far as possible. They've got their 3 goals now, Armadale. It's all about shape for them now as far as they're concerned as we enter the final 10 minutes. Lee tries to hold off a couple of challenges. Phoenix Lee did really well to get it back to Alex Seller, and now Ali Galami will drive straight into a wall of Armadale bodies. And then Kalla lost his footing at the crucial time. Lee did well to keep it in play. Played it off his opposite number as the 2 number 17s went at it. Armadale just getting a little hemmed in at the moment. Not quite able to find that pass out and maybe just keep control of things for a moment of 2 to give their defence a little bit of relief. Adder does really well, though, to jink his way past a couple of challenges. He finds the right pass as well for Gallo. Pasalacqua. Jacobs. Armadale Jr., Peter Jacobs. Player who's come through the club and keeps improving with every season, does the youngster. Perkins. Tarek Adder. Clearance upfield for Ethan Banks, who tried to wriggle away from Gallo. Now Gordon. Kalla. Zivkovic. Plenty of space for Tellez here in the centre of the park. Achille. Still going is Federico. Achille, he'll try his luck, and it was low and hard. And Garcella was able to get his body behind the ball, soaring it from a long way out. He's certainly been a little bit busier in this second half as the goalkeeper. One brilliant save, in particular to deny Will Gordon around 10 to 15 minutes ago. Meanwhile, here's Banks. Spinning off bar. Julian Tellez. Banks just lost his footing there, unfortunately for him. And then Gallo ran out of room over on that far side. Although the decision will go his way. So it's looking more and more likely as the minutes tick down that it is going to be 3 points for Armadale tonight. And this venue has been such a strong one for Perth over the years. Their home record has been as good as anybody's home record in the league in recent years. But it's looking like back-to-back defeats unless something dramatic happens in the final 6.5 minutes or so. Having lost to Bayswater 3-1 at the weekend, and now likely Armadale by, as it stands, 3-0 tonight. In fact, Perth's last home defeat in the league, not including the top 4 cup final defeat to Florida in 2014. In terms of league matches, but it's actually in round 7 in 2020. And against Armadale, funnily enough, in that game which ended 3-2. So losing at this ground for Perth hasn't been a regular feeling, but they're going to have to find a way to bounce back if they are to resurrect their season. It should be said that they do still have a couple of games in hand to play. One of those is against bottom side Balcatta. The other of those is against high-flying Perth Red Star, which maybe is a little more difficult on paper. In fact, one of those games that they're catching up on is coming up in the next week or so. Perth are actually back here this coming Saturday at home against mid-table Inglewood United, who Armadale are overtaking tonight. They're then playing against their City of Vincent rivals Floriat at E&D Leaders Stadium, and then they've got that round 5 catch-up match against Balcatta at this ground in the subsequent midweek. Atta Jelenovic tried to burst away from Achille, who's going to become the first Perth player to take a yellow ticket tonight. Armadale, meanwhile, away at Floriat, away at Stirling, and home to Sorrento are their next 3 fixtures. Sandwiched in between that, they've got that cup fixture away at Inglewood with a possible fixture against Bayswater or Western Knights in the semi-final should they win that game. So a tough run for Armadale coming up, but they'll take plenty of confidence and plenty of belief going forward. With a good win here tonight, it seems. Costello's ball forward was short and Silla was able to pick it off. Nicely brought down by Banks, who tried to slide the ball through for Zivkovic, but Pasalakwa was in the way of it. And now Perkins will skip away from Achille, and Armadale have possibly got a 3-on-2 here, but numbers were able to get back in the end. Still, it worked its way wide for Jacobs. Perkins, who's such an excitement machine, the young player. Really looking forward to watching his game develop in the NPL WA men's competition over the rest of the season and hopefully beyond. And Armadale are going to introduce some fresh legs for the final few minutes of this one. Plenty of hard work done by those players tonight. One of the players to exit is Cherno Bar, and the other will be Kevin Gallo. And coming on in their place, a couple of like-for-like swaps. Lukman Saeed will come on at right back for Gallo. The other of those players will be Eddie Garrido, player who actually was previously with Bayswater and Stirling. Before joining Armadale in 2016. Banks runs out of room, but the flag's already gone up for a free kick. Gordon's cross aimed in. Perth with plenty forward. Achille arrived on the penalty spot and he wasn't quite able to direct the header on target. He's been a real threat at set pieces this season, scoring twice previously this campaign. Unfortunately not able to hit the target there for Perth and pull back a consolation for them. Coombson's throw. Jacobs, little turn around the corner. Garrido with a foot in. Bit of space here for Tyrek Adder. Dancing a jive. with Caladan left. The cross into the area. It's headed away by Gordon. And the offside flag was actually up against Jelenovic, and Perth will get the free kick. Banks, cross into the area. Costello cuts out. Pasalakwa. Zivkovic trying to force it across. DeWitt steps in. Tried to dance between a couple of challengers and emerging with the ball once again, as he has done all night, in all honesty, has been Osman, who's been absolutely brilliant in the centre of the park for Armadale this evening. Here he is again. It's a round of applause from Sam Hutchings, Armadale's assistant coach, former goalkeeper, crossing into the area. Jelenovic's header. Thought about cushioning that one down for Atta, I think. And in the end, he did neither. Shoot or pass to a teammate as the 90-minute mark is up. We're very much in the dying stages of this one. Can Banks try and push Perth forward for a consolation, perhaps? DeWitt will strike at goal, and it whistles just wide of the mark. And it's just been one of those sorts of nights so far for Perth. On a few chances that they have gotten in behind Armadale's rock-solid defence, they haven't been able to find that final ball or that cutting-edge moment. And it's the likely reason why Armadale are going to walk away with a clean sheet from tonight's fixture. Zivkovic forward. Maybe I've spoken too soon. Phoenix Lee. Little pass for DeWitt, who's been forced back by Garrido, who picks his pocket. Garrido again. Jacobs. Tarek Atta. Switch the player was on. Opted to come back and find the feet of Osman instead. Atta. Shuffles his way past Silla. Sliding in Jelenovic. Atta manages to keep that one alive. He plays it off Kalla. And Armadale will have a late throw down at the right end of the ground as far as they're concerned in terms of preserving that clean sheet. Osman happy to try and hold things up. Our view slightly blocked by the floodlights. Osman throws in. Armadale get the win here. And it's hard to say that they didn't deserve it. They were brilliant throughout the 90 minutes here at Dorrien Gardens. The better team from start to finish. They were set on their way by two first-half goals scored by Angel Andres Rivera and by Adriano Jelenovic in the space of 2 minutes midway through the first half. And they never looked back really after that. A third was scored 5 minutes into the second period. And from that point, really, it was game over with Perth's best efforts largely coming from distance. One good save in particular from Yusri Garstella, who got down low to deny a long-range effort from Will Gordon. But full credit to the visitors tonight, who were brilliant in defence, and they were clinical at the pointy end of the pitch when it mattered as well. It's just Armadale's second ever win against Perth in the NPL WA men's competition since it formed in 2014, and it's their first away win of the season and their first since last season's 2-1 win away at Balcatta in round 18. Full time here at Dorrien Gardens. Armadale moved back up to 7th and closed to within 6 points of Bayswater City as they push towards the top 4 places. Perth 0, Armadale 3. Good night from Dorrien Gardens. Enjoy the rest of your week, everyone.